Hey buds, welcome back to Stay Positive. This is me, Sierra. Stay Podsitive. So sorry there. That was a gaffe. Listen, today I had a really eventful morning, which normally right now I don't even know up from down. Like most days blend together. But this morning I had the pleasure of having my electricity go out. Basically, like 80% of the outlets in the house were not working, which means the Wi-Fi was down, but the lights were working. So that was kind of a fun perk. Regardless, we got it sorted out just in time to get this interview going. Shout out to my dad who kindly, while we kept our social distancing, was able to pass off like several extension cords. I don't know why he had so many extension cords, but I feel like that's a thing. It's a thing. People hoard extension cords. Anyway, so we're back in business, and today we have a really awesome guest. I am very happy about this one. He was so nice to, spend the time to come on. But listen, I've been a fan of his for a while. You can catch his music everywhere, but specifically, he started as on YouTube, kind of back before it wasn't as cool as it is. You know what I mean? One of those guys. He really crushes the game. He makes music videos. He music directs. He's also in musicals. Ever heard of him? He was most recently in Mamma Mia at East West Players, and his name is AJ Rafael. Check him out if you haven't already, but you're about to listen to him talk, so you will. It's funny because you had told me you had just moved to like Glendale, right, or Los Angeles area, so at least you were closer. So I was like, okay, great. This will be like
We're gonna get to hang finally.
an easier venture over here. But yeah, it's now you could be anywhere, and it's just the same.
You could be
stuff.
anywhere. I know. In a weird way, that's the silver lining. Is that it's kind of connecting us all.
Yeah, and like you're kind of, I feel like as someone who is well versed in being like a YouTube person, you kind of know like how to work remotely and how to like interface and collaborate with people.
Yeah,
right?
I think that if anything, the standard is now lower than what we have learned, which is crazy because, this whole time we've been trying to figure out how to make the best quality content in our own homes. We have the best equipment, and we as in like, I don't know, content creators who make YouTube videos for a living, right? But like, yeah, we have all the best equipment. We can do it right in our homes. But now all this stuff that's coming out, even on television, and even on big concerts and stuff, are just made with either an iPhone or a webcam. So actually, it makes things easier to just kind of throw together some like a collaboration with somebody, and they film on their webcam, and you just kind of piece it together and sync it together, and that's the quality.
Totally.
And it's fine.
Yeah, and like at least you have the equipment already. I feel like a lot of the stuff is sold out, so it's like you're like way ahead of the curve.
No, totally.
So
totally.
that's great. Have you watched any of those sort of living room concerts that?
Yeah, I have.
What did you think?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I'm all about it because it's helping provide, healing and joy during this time. But it is hard to watch some of them where you see like really rich celebrities with very bad self-tape or living room setups of even their sound or their video, which I can forgive, but it gives you a reality thing of just like, if these celebs had to do self-tapes at their level, it would not be as good as a lot of my actor friends who do it for a living. You know what I mean?
The setup, the lighting, like what they're putting as their backdrop or something like that.
Yeah, totally. It's crazy. So it's been interesting to watch. Again, I am not putting it down in any way because we all need it, we all need it at this time. But yeah, some of it has been hard to watch, and I just click out if there's a bad setup, and I'm like, oh, I can't do this.
Yeah, I know. They need a Lakers pillow in the background. They need a matching couch.
I mean, at least
that's beautiful. It's great framing. You've got a good color scheme going on.
Thank you. I just got the purple cover.
Oh, okay, got it. So yeah,
because it's an IKEA couch.
You wanted to spruce it up a little bit.
I did.
That's great. Yeah, I have a ripped futon in my like living area.
Oh.
That I should probably get like a cover like that. Cover up the hole. What happened? It was like
Yeah,
a slice, and then my foot slipped into it one day and I
got
ripped it
it.
into a hole. So it happens. You know, I
I feel
didn't
it.
think
I
it
can
would be a
imagine it
problem.
already.
Yeah.
The slice. I like how
A
you
little
describe that.
slice, you know, got my foot in there. Made it a little bit more than a slice, but yeah. So it's good to know that there's a quick cure for that.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, I mean, all right. So I should give a little context to you, even though the people they know. But you are AJ
No.
Rafael, the musician, the actor, the musical theater artist. Now I want to ask a lot about
Oh,
that too,
thanks.
because that combines a lot of different things. You gotta move
It
your
totally
body.
does. I
That's
know.
a whole thing. What was it?
Yeah,
Let's
dancing.
get into that actually. Yeah, what
Let's
what
get
was
into
that
that already.
like? What's it like being a on-stage performer in more than just music, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you said, I am known as a musician first, so when people find out I do musical theater, they're like surprised, but also not surprised, because like my personality, I guess, and I love Disney and stuff,
Oh,
and
yeah,
like that stuff is very apparent if you follow me. But dancing and stuff has kind of been in the family. I am not a dancer, but like my sisters dance, my mom dances, so I kind of grew up like knowing how to pick up choreography. I mean, executing it is a different, that's a different beast. But so getting into musical theater and doing the dance auditions and stuff, yeah, they are very stressful still, but I can fake it enough to where
That's huge.
where I can like look up and smile at the people,
yeah,
on the other
yeah.
side
You
of the
stumbled,
table,
but
and
you caught it, and you're still smiling, kind of thing.
yeah, exactly. So I just did Mamma Mia, not just did because it's been a year, but I did Mamma Mia for 11 weeks at East West Players, which is the big Asian American theater out here in downtown LA, and
Very cool.
very historic place. But actually, 2 years before that, I was in a really heavy dancing ensemble show called Burn All Night, and it was a new musical, and I flew out to Boston for that, and that really changed my perspective on musical theater because I had just been doing it locally, and then doing something at this theater called American Repertory Theater, and that's like,
Oh yeah.
Waitress has come from there.
Right. Yeah. So I went to Harvard, and it's right on campus essentially.
Oh my
right?
God.
And so
Yeah,
a lot of
exactly.
people would go see shows there, and it's like they
Yeah.
get huge,
Did you see
shows.
our ART show?
I saw a lot of like student produced shows, so I don't think I ever saw like the professional show there, but like people would, PA for it or like whatever that
Got
sort
it.
of,
Yeah, for sure.
stage hand kind of person, and like
I was
occasionally-
technically
yeah, uh-huh.
a Harvard student.
Oh, well,
Yeah, so
look,
it is go through that.
Yeah, exactly.
It goes
That's
through that
amazing.
program.
Uh-huh.
That's so cool. I
Yeah.
stayed
Where
at
did
the
you-
dorms, the post-grad dorms.
Oh, the
Um,
what was, like duh starts the d- duh.
When did
Clearly,
you go
I
there?
know. Well, I graduated in 2016, so 2012 to 2016, essentially.
Cool.
When were you there?
Oh my goodness. 2017.
Oh, dang. Okay.
I just
Wow.
missed you.
Okay, so that was
That
pretty
would've been
recent
crazy.
then. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So how did you like living on campus, and like what did you think
Yeah,
about?
you know what?
Harvard?
I went to Berklee College of Music across the bridge.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
So
that.
I was
a big deal.
familiar with Boston, but I'd never spent time in Cambridge.
Yeah, it's like a
what is
little bit of
your
a trek.
opinion on Cambridge? Like in a few words.
Sure. Oh, a few words. I mean, expensive.
Yes.
and very quaint. Feels very
yeah.
New England. Not that I
Yeah.
really know
I
New England.
I would throw in historic.
Yes.
A little bit. It has that vibe. So
Totally.
you know exactly how it was to walk around, the bookstore and stuff, and I can't even name the things right now.
I mean,
but
look,
it
I
felt
couldn't
like
even
I was a
remember
student.
what that grad student housing was, but I think I know what you mean. Is it like right in the yard, kind of? Like
Yeah, right in the
Yeah, that's a
yard,
great
yeah.
place to live. I feel like it's kind of central, and you're still like in the college feel, because that's where the freshmen live. I think,
Yes.
or first year students will live around there.
Right. We lived kind of right next to the finals clubs.
Right, and
I
then you're
think.
right in that area, that Main Street where all
like
those final
Insomnia
club things.
cookies and
Yes. Insomnia cookies
Yes.
open late. You get the milk. You get the, I don't know if you drink
Yeah.
milk. I really
I don't,
shouldn't.
I don't.
I shouldn't. I don't.
You
But then
shouldn't.
I'll like slip up.
You'll suffer
Yeah, and then it's like, this is a bad
later.
idea. Yeah.
For me, I'm actually allergic
Oh,
to dairy,
really?
so
Wow.
I will, anaphylactic.
Oh,
and
gosh. Okay, yeah, then you really
die
can't.
if I have enough.
Yeah,
I
no
can't.
death. Preferably no death. But yeah, just the cookies, no milk.
Yeah, how cool. We're connected in more ways.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, then the ART being like I remember Bryan Cranston had a play there when I was on campus.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Zachary Quinto. It was like all these big stars doing theater.
Yeah, they really trust the program there because a lot of these plays and musicals that got developed there end up going to Broadway.
Right, okay.
So I learned really I felt like that was probably the closest I could get to knowing what it would be like to be on Broadway, as far as like how efficient everything is run, how, on the contrary, how nice, and kind the creative team can be and the crew. When sometimes out here in LA, they're like, we're preparing you for Broadway. We're going to be an asshole to you.
I see. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like so different.
Right.
Because the local scene here, everyone works for every theater, and I don't know. It's
interesting.
Is
it like
episode.
Them holding it over your head like, oh, this is how they do it there? Like, I feel like, for instance, in high school, everybody was like, in college, if you forget to do this, they'll just kick you out. Like, it was like always holding this thing over your head, and then you actually get there and you're like, they're also human.
That is literally what I'm trying to say. Yes.
Good. So then you discovered that it wasn't as brutal as.
Yeah.
But
and
I'm
not
sure
to say, I think, right, definitely still rigorous, and still there are a lot of things that you have to do, like discipline wise, that probably you've been prepared for by, the local scene and high school and college and stuff. But it is cool to see what a kind of program like that is run. So yeah, musical theater, big part of my life still, and I'm music directing and doing different things behind the scenes as well on like the other side. But it's really fulfilling to act and stuff, and that's how I met you, acting.
Yeah, our little short Wong Fu shout out. That was funny because I remember they had called your character TJ. Which they meant to change, and they're like, oh, I guess we just called AJ TJ. Well,
yeah, I guess we'll
art imitates life.
Did you help write that script?
No, I didn't. I think that was like the first thing I ever did with them, and I just acted in it. But yeah, it was later I did help with some writing stuff, but it was just like,
that's awesome.
Cool to see how they, make their videos.
How they do their thing.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah, exactly. How did you initially meet them? I'm sure.
Yeah, sort of. I obviously knew about their YouTube channel, and this is back in 2008.
Sweet.
They had done a music video for David Choi, this song called That Girl, and I was just like, holy crap, this is amazing. This is made by like guys who are in California, and I happened to meet them at this dancer / artist / creative mogul Victor Kim, who used to be part of this dance crew called Quest Crew.
Cool.
And he was having people over at his house. And there was a lot of us there, people who ended up becoming YouTubers and like content creators and stuff. And I knew Phil was there in the room, and we were just jamming, and I was just jamming on the piano, and I was playing every request that was thrown at me.
Oh, Jesus.
And, it was really like I was like being myself, obviously, but also I knew they were there, so I did want to impress them.
Yeah, good,
you know what
good.
I mean? So I'm like pulling out all the 90s R&B. I know that these guys are a little older than me, so
incredible, tailoring it to their, tastes.
I was a little bit,
very,
to be honest.
Very genius.
Yes. Either way, I wanted to be all these people's friends, and I wanted them to, I wanted us to all have a respect for each other, and I ended up talking to them after that when we were all going home and walking outside, and Phil was like, dude, love you, like, do you have original music, man? Like, hey, send some stuff, man, maybe we can do something
cool. Yeah.
And I sent in my song When We Say Juice Box, and it was one of it became one of the classics, man. And we shot that with just 2 cameras. That was like when the Canon 7D first came out.
Cool.
And I remember shooting with that. And yeah, I think I really, really believe that changed the trajectory of where my YouTube channel was going at that time. I mean, that was in 2009. And that's how I ended up becoming close with them and having a relationship with them. So yeah, it's been a fun journey.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. And like, you know, the fact that you're, you not only do music, but also make like music videos and stuff, I guess, like, how do you approach that? Because I think it's a whole different thing, I would imagine.
Yeah. I mean, I feel kind of lucky because I was always mixing it all together. I was always like someone who wanted to make music along with visual, art for that same thing or whatever. Whether it was like a live cover, I always wanted to connect to people. And at first, of course, it felt weird, like talking to a camera when I first started making my YouTube. I mean, at one point, I wasn't even looking at the camera. I put like the camera on the side and I'm playing piano.
Oh, right. You're like, I mean, pretend you're just in your room, like, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And then it evolved to, bringing the camera to here and
look me in the eye.
So like I'll look over a little bit,
right?
And then it became me talking to the camera, and this is going alongside with my MySpace page at the time. And I was really, really trying to promote that and trying to blast my music on there on MySpace. And so YouTube was really just this tool where I could, like, people could see who I am, and so yeah, anytime I am making music, I always am thinking about the music video or how I can introduce it to my supporters and fans on my YouTube channel. I have been a little like inconsistent in the last few years, but that's definitely always something that is right there as far as priority to me when I'm thinking about the song.
Cool. Yeah, that's great.
And the video.
Right, it's not like an afterthought or whatever, because I'm sure it's not the same.
It's all kind of the same thing.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I noticed too, like, your Instagram, like, you're good at, because now you're walking through like, oh yeah, MySpace, and then YouTube is the thing, and then now, I think as an artist, you've had to adapt a ton to, like, what's the latest and greatest thing and the best way to connect to people, and then, you have people who've obviously followed you for a long time, but what's it been like, I guess, trying to adapt and figure out what the next thing is? I mean, I know TikTok now is like, everybody's going insane.
Going insane, including me. Because
how's that?
Are you doing TikToks?
I'm not like creating that. I put a couple up. They haven't gotten many views at all.
It's all good.
It's in the tens. But
in the tens.
In the tens. Don't worry about it. But I love to watch. I like to swipe before bed and just see like some funnies, and
consuming
then I go to bed.
Content on there is so easy.
Oh, it's a drug. It's terrible. Yeah, you can just keep going forever, and they make sure to show like the viral ones, so they're probably really funny if a lot of people find them funny already, or like
totally
intriguing.
And it's really cool. I think that the algorithm there is like anybody can kind of blow up. It doesn't have to be a celebrity or whatever. It's like, they show it to a test audience. If there's good engagement on that, then it moves to a next test audience. It's bigger.
Good.
And so
feels
to
more
anybody
like
who's
democratic.
making TikToks, it's just it's like a more even playing field. Cool. So like, don't worry about the ones that get less than 10 views or whatever, because
right. Yeah, we can always bounce back later.
That's trying to throw advice to the general, but also to you.
Right. Thank you. No, I need it. Yeah, I mean, I do like the thing that we're whatever, like the fact that there are trends that happen. I guess it makes it very conducive to, like, if you don't know where to start out, it's like, oh well, people are doing this one where
just follow one of those.
Yeah, they use this sound and then they do this kind of thing. So how can you adapt it to your own? So
right. Cool. I really love that. And this is, I feel like it's kind of a culmination of every social media thing that has come out in the last 10 years. So, as you're asking like about how to go about adapting to each one, I mean, I can think about it looking back and being like, this was a really smart move to do. And I was cross-promoting on MySpace and YouTube before that was even a word. Wow. At the end of YouTube,
cross-promoting, that is
my MySpace,
very important.
And I think I'm thinking of that in the future.
Sure.
I was not thinking about that back then. It was just kind of like an instinct,
Oh,
you
okay.
know. And
Yeah,
then,
I'm imagining you had like a wall with strings, and you're like, how do I get from
I'm like,
YouTube to MySpace?
yeah, all the math,
Right. Yeah, the equations. Beautiful
symbols.
mind.
Yeah,
You're like writing math on the wall. I don't know. I don't know
exactly.
what happened in that movie.
Definitely not doing that back then. I think I was just like, how do I get more people to hear my music, you know? And then thankfully, like, sites like Twitter came up, and back then it was kind of crazy because, you know, there was a big kind of Asian American wave of creators, like from 2008
Yeah.
to 2000, like 11, 12. So anytime I would tweet, I think I'd have the location or something, and like people would show up and stuff, you know, like that was kind of the beginning of like, oh shoot, my music is really reaching people. And whether it was me or some of my like contemporaries and stuff, and like Wong Fu and stuff, and us starting to get like recognized in the public, and it's like
Sure.
this weird medium celebrity type thing, you know. So adapting to kind of engage more with fans, and of course there's like pros and cons to like being quote unquote like popular or famous when you yourself don't feel that way, and then your family's like, what are you doing? Like, try out for American Idol or The Voice. Like, what are you doing YouTube?
Interesting.
Right? You know, things like that. And when I say family, mostly like aunties and uncles.
Right,
like, my
right.
mom
They're
has
like,
always
this
been
is what we've
supportive.
seen on television.
Yeah, exactly. So they're like, what? So all of these things, and just trying to adapt, and, you know, maybe part of me is like chasing that validation from fans, and then the other part of me is like chasing to make more music and to try to satisfy my need of that. It's been wild, man. So I feel like there's, even after all of this, and I'm 31 years old now, there's still so many new beginnings, like we're talking about TikTok, and like, you know, kind of finding our place in that world, and things like that, even though I've been, you know, online for like 14 years, you know. It actually gets tiring thinking about it. I mean,
You don't have to think.
now that I'm talking to you about it.
Right. You're
like,
like, oh God,
holy
the
crap.
past. No, I mean, you know, that's how it is. It is so strange. I think even now with our quarantine situation, it's like, what is time? You know,
I know.
I think
Can you
it's
believe
just,
it's been a month?
I don't even. It feels like it's been years.
It's crazy.
So, you know, I mean, looking back, it's always very odd, but I guess that's just the way time works. We're just always moving forward, and there's more to
I
look
know.
back at as we move forward. But I was interested in what you said about, like, you know, balancing fan validation and also like making the music and things like that. Because I don't know, I always wonder how artists and musicians and whoever, whenever you're creating something, is there a certain, was there a point where you found like, okay, now I kind of have figured out that I'm making it for myself right now, or like, oops, I lost that
The
a little bit.
balance.
I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah. How do you gauge
Yeah.
that even?
Man, for me, it came in a really, really big kind of crash, opposed to like, gradually trying to find that balance. Like in 2014, I made a few mistakes in my own personal life, and it had me step back and be like, whoa, what am I doing this for? Like, I put myself in that situation because of, I mean, if I trace it back to, it's because of, you know, popularity and this blowing up of my own ego, and that comes from me have been making my own music and stuff for a couple years, and, you know, gaining popularity that way. So when I was put in that situation, I was like, dude, what am I doing this for? I started noticing that I was also, when I was playing shows, I'm like, I'm barely smiling in the meet and greets and stuff, and just like,
Sure,
it's
it's just
crazy.
a
I'm
lot,
just like, yeah, it's just a lot, and I'm kind of becoming a robot, and, you know, trying to fulfill voids and stuff in weird ways. So yeah, I took a crazy long hiatus. I wrote a letter to my fans, and, you know, I remember writing that letter saying just like, yo, you know, I never wanted to become this person who like cared more about the non-musical stuff when it came to my art. And I saw myself becoming someone I didn't want to. So wrote this letter, And fans took it really well, and they're like, yo, take your time or whatever. And I stopped playing shows. I stopped making music videos, stopped writing music until like middle of 2017, which is crazy. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it doesn't seem like that long of a time, but I feel like if creatives, people like you and me and people who make content and stuff, and like especially with, I'm sure with like comedy and music, it's like when people see you do your show, people are like, dude, you must be having fun up there. You're having fun, right? Like, and we are truly, we're having fun when we're doing our thing. But that also puts in people's mind that we're having fun all the time. Mm-hmm. And then when we start believing like, all right, we're working on new jokes, we're working on new material, I'm blessed to be able to do this. I'm grateful to be having fun for a living, right? Then you forget to like take your own little breaks and take your weekends seriously. Weekends as in whatever days are free for you, right? Because I really noticed this when, my girlfriend, she works a 9 to 5, and she has to pick out her days of vacation. Mm-hmm. She doesn't work on the weekends, right? Like when she doesn't have to work, she has PTO and things like that. And like, what if musicians and creatives and stuff kind of took a page from that book and took our own mini breaks where we realize, we got to take care of ourselves and like separate ourselves from the art? Then maybe some of us wouldn't go into like a huge kind of dip and huge crash where like we feel like no more inspiration at all for our art.
Wow.
And
yeah.
things like that, So ever since then, I have made it a point to like take a vacation where I'm not getting paid to go to Hawaii to play a show. So I'm taking days extra. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Instead of doing that, I will like pay with my own money to go somewhere because I deserved it. I deserve to just sit there and not do music.
That's huge. So, you're like, I'm just AJ on the beach. Don't talk to me. Don't expect me to make music right now. Yeah, that's so important. And I love that. That's so crazy that you brought that up, because I was thinking about that the other day, talking to some friends who also, work more traditional jobs and kind of have had the, like have hobbies.
Yeah.
It's like,
hobbies.
I feel you. Yeah. It was like, oh, what do I do for fun? It was hard.
Because what you do for fun is your job.
Yeah, because it's like, for so long, when I was a student or whatever, before taking on comedy more seriously, more full time, it was sort of like, oh, this is what I do for fun. And then when it turned into that's, what we do for fun, we get to do, it does feel like such a blessing that it's hard to be like, oh, I shouldn't need a break from this. It almost feels like if I needed a break, then I must not be doing the right thing, and I need to find what my true passion is, which is like terrifying. But I love
that's
that
exactly
you
the mindset.
Figured that out. Yeah, the fact that like, setting aside time off at that also is not like guilty. Like I feel like it's easy to also be like, okay, well,
it is.
I'm sitting back and watching this unrelated movie or television show, but also I should be creating or, practicing or whatever. Yeah, that's great. And speaking of, I did go on a vacation this past like holidays, like around New Year's kind of.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a show or anything like.
Good.
And it was like, oh wow, I've never really like, because I think sometimes I normally bring my boyfriend with me, and he's on vacation at those times because he works a traditional job. So then he's always like, out on the, doing his own thing, and I'm like, I gotta, what is my set list? So I gotta figure it out,
You're
and
on
like,
your phone and stuff.
So that is a very, that's great advice for sure.
No, it's a good reminder for everybody, and I obviously didn't even think I was going to even talk about that today. So it feels a reminder even to me, especially during this quarantine time. We can all feel like we got to hustle freaking 24/7, but
yeah, I gave up on that long ago. But yeah, for sure. I mean, just the idea of like, okay, now's your time, everyone, write that novel. It's like, what?
Dude,
who's doing that?
Where's that coming from? Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's very exciting. And also the fact that you, so in that time period that you mentioned between 2014 and like 2017, when you were like taking a break, what was that like? Like, that's pretty, that's a really big deal. And I've seen other people take breaks of their respective things too, and it seems
Sure.
great, but also really hard to do.
Yeah, it was very hard. I mean, I I didn't feel like I was actually resting until, I don't know, a year or two into it, because I was kept thinking about what my next move would be and stuff, and blah blah blah. But during that time, I really found, I mean, going back to the musical theater stuff, is that's when I really found my love for it, and I got offered to do this musical directing job where, for those not familiar with that term, it's just like you're in charge of the whole music aspect of like either a musical or a project or a play. And so I teach the actors the voices, the voicings, and reading the music, and then I relay to the band what needs to be done. And so there's typically a director, a music director, and choreographer for a musical. So being a big part of that process was really cool. I got an opportunity to music direct this musical called Young Frankenstein. And if you listen to that soundtrack ever, it's like not the easiest music, and I felt like I kind of got thrown into a lion's den, and like there are people who are actually getting paid for me to teach them music, right? And like people in the union who come in 2 weeks after I've already taught everybody the music, and I have to just plug them in and give them all their music.
Okay,
and
yeah.
oh my God, I was just like stressed the whole time. But after that is when I was like, yo, I love this world. I love meeting with actors and stuff, and people who are, and theater doesn't pay that much, people who are getting a couple $100 for the whole run of a musical. They're coming out from LA or OC, because I was in Riverside at that time. Like an hour, sometimes 2 hours to drive, just for the love of being on stage and like creating something with an ensemble of people. So I really saw the work ethic of people in theater, and people who do that kind of thing and dedicate their times and their bodies to a certain project for 6 weeks. So yeah, that gave me a new respect for it, and that's when I really started trying to take that seriously, on both sides of the table. So I was doing some music directing jobs, and then also, I wanted to put myself out there and audition myself, and do the dancing thing, and singing and acting, and so I'm grateful that hiatus happened, because maybe without that I wouldn't have found this other bone to my body that is just as strong, or at least it's just as passionate as the rest of my passions.
Wow.
So
Gosh, because I do feel like that is, I mean, did you feel as if the music directing, because you approached your, I don't know, I'm trying to tie together your YouTube like videos and
Sure.
visuals and stuff, did that help at all, or was it still just completely different?
I mean, when it came to that local job that I booked for the music directing stuff, that stuff felt separate, very separate. So music directing, that comes from like my own consumption of knowledge from music. Okay. So from Berklee days, and from learning piano at an early age, and playing at church every Sunday and stuff, that all came into that world.
Cool.
But when it came to my acting and stuff and auditioning, all of that stuff felt like just an extension of my resume. I'm not like ashamed to put my followers and stuff on my resume.
Oh, yeah.
And the subscribers that I've,
smart.
gained on YouTube on my resume, just because then it shows that you have a discipline, or something else going for you. And the people on the other side of the table, and I've been there, when I'm looking at a resume, I'm like, oh, this person does this that has nothing to do with theater. That's really cool.
Oh yeah, no, that's
they could
great.
bring a different perspective to what that is. So it all kind of intertwines a little bit. Although when I did that thing at ART, when people started finding out, I had a following or whatever, like, oh dude, what, you have songs on Spotify? And because actors' mindset too is way different. A lot of them are waiting on their agents or managers. They're waiting for a phone call.
Sure.
Right? They're not necessarily, and I don't speak for all of them, but like, they're not used to, because of the culture of the business, making their own opportunities and making their own shorts and making their own
right
things, right? that's just starting to happen now. So when I was doing the ART, I almost wanted to keep that low key because I wanted people to just see me as one of them, as like, you know, I wanted to be part of the ensemble. I'm the same as you. I want to gain your respect in that sense.
Right.
So yeah, sometimes I'm trying to hide it, but sometimes I'm like, I would use it to my advantage, for lack of
Yeah. And I think that's not like, you know, I mean, I get why you say use to your advantage, but it's like, it is you and you earn that. And that's like something that makes you different from other people. And like, that could be good or bad, right? Depending on if you're trying to just blend in.
Of course.
But I mean, like, it is really, I think that's something that's interesting now is like, I think there's a lot of pressure to specialize and be like, oh, well, if I'm this, I'm like a purist. So if you're an actor, like you're, you know, you're going to wait for that call, you know what I mean? And like not try to create other things because maybe that invalidates what you've already earned or whatever, right? But like in reality, I think it's really hard to do that if you're somebody like yourself where you have multiple skills and you've worked on them over the course of your life. And then you're
I feel
you can't abandon them, right?
If I can do it, then I mean anyone can, because it's not like I was a savant or anything like that, you know, where like I was doing all these things. I mean,
you might be.
Whatever. I mean, it's all relative.
Right. Okay. Well, you know, relative to other savants. No, just another savant. Like, don't worry.
No, I truly believe that, you know, anybody, and it's so cliche to say like put your mind to something and do it, but like if I am capable, and I get distracted easily, and you know, even in my songwriting and stuff, I don't finish one in one setting, you know, I'm always writing different things. If somebody can put a thing on YouTube and get their own camera to put lights on and put out a video, dude, like anyone can, really anyone can do that. So I always am encouraging people to use all the free resources we have, like, you know, GarageBand and iMovie and stuff is on a computer right away, right there. Like you can make your own podcast like right away on when you just open up the laptop, you know.
Exactly.
So
that's what I did.
Yeah.
Said start podcast. No, but yeah, for sure. It is really, you know, that's kind of how it feels. All those things are true, but also, you know, don't sell yourself short is what I mean.
No,
it's also, you know, you had to do, I mean, picking up a lot of that stuff, obviously, like, you know, where you were at in your life, you had accrued these skills and understandings, you know, to be able to dabble in these very different areas, even though they all, you know, maybe have the through line of music, but yeah, don't know many people who could just be tapped to music direct and just be like, yeah, all right, we got this.
Yeah, I mean, it does take a certain amount of like dedication to your craft and stuff.
Totally.
You know, and rehearsing and all that stuff, focus and will and blah, blah, blah.
Sure. I mean, okay, and then starting out too, like, did you have a person in your life or like someone who maybe you didn't know but looked up to as sort of like they're doing that, maybe I can, I don't know, because it was pretty early.
I mean, yeah, early on, my whole family is musical, and you know, my mom and dad were in choir, so every Sunday I'd see my dad play church. My mom was in the choir, multiple churches, different denominations, and then when I was 10, my dad passed away. So that was like a big thing for me to like carry on a legacy, even though I didn't use those words quite at the time. I just remember I was 10 years old, and I literally played piano for his funeral.
Wow.
You know, like it was like just kind of thrown in because the next best person in that community, in the small community we had in Moreno Valley, which is in the Inland Empire, was me, because my dad was like kind of training me, and I was in classical piano lessons and stuff. And I had watched him play in this pop band, so I was really obsessed with playing pop music too at the same time. I didn't really like classical music, so I was grateful for that whole experience that led me to kind of taking over for my dad. And then my mom moved from being just a singer to the choir director, so we're this little team, which was really cool. And my sister was playing violin. My baby sister was only 6 months. So that along with kind of just becoming the man of the family, man of the house, was like
at 10
crazy.
too,
at 10 years old,
not quite a man.
Yeah, not quite a man, for sure. Not a man for many years.
Right.
I felt like
you kind of
I had to step up.
Yeah, that's. Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine. Yeah, it must have been very hard. But also, I, admire the fact that you're able to also bring yourself to play piano at his funeral. That is like a really momentous thing.
Right. It is. I mean, I have a memory now of me like looking from the piano pit at this particular church up at the people who are saying the eulogies. I'm like, what the heck am I even doing here? But it was all just, it was all, everything of course is like meant to happen at a certain time and all these things. And with age, I have not, I'm always going to be like sad about it, but I've been more appreciative of what has happened in my life and the tragedy that has happened. And my mom has gone through even more than just the death of my dad. So it was my dad and mom kind of combined, where that's what was the main inspiration for and motivation for me to become the person and musician I am. Like, my mom was not a typical Asian parent in that sense, where she never said, why are you doing music? You know what I mean? Like, it was very cool to always have the encouragement. Like, my mom bought me my first $1,000 24 track recorder. That's before like software on the computer and stuff. So to record my first like album that I burned on a CD and passed it out at school.
No way.
So
a young entrepreneur.
Yeah, no, seriously. Every 10 that I sold with my best friend Arby, I would, if we sold 10 in that day, that's $100, right? I literally bought In-N-Out for him. Oh, like that was like that's great. Our thing.
Yeah,
like,
wait. So
hey, In-N-Out, let's
go.
Who's
Arby? He was like your friend who helped you sell, or was he also a musician?
No, he was not a musician. He sang in the kids choir, but he was like
PR guy.
He still is my best friend as well.
Oh, nice.
So he was like my roadie, number one roadie, like always helping me carry my keyboard. Wow. He's a bigger guy too. So he looks like my bouncer. Yeah, it's like perfect. Bodyguard, which is hilarious.
That's a great buddy movie.
It totally is. Like,
from kids
whenever that happens, it's been cool to have, not only my mom's support, but like, of course, my sisters, and then, friends like my best friend Arby, who would just roll with me to every show and like drive with me. And, sometimes I would only be getting paid gas money for these shows. But so what I would like try to just hook him up with would be like sales for my CD. I'm like, food's always on me. Yeah. So all of that from a little age. So it wasn't necessarily a celebrity from afar that I was like, I can go and do this, because as you know, and everybody who is freaking Asian knows that there's not a ton to like to see on regular traditional platforms for you to be like, I can for sure be the next blah blah blah. Right. We're all from our generation down, it's like we got to be the next whoever we are. Right. Because there's not many there,
Yeah, and thankfully it is changing, but I feel like music is still needs a lot of work in particular, right? Like,
so true.
I don't know why. I've seen a few come up, so, and you never know, right?
I could think of several Asian comedians right now, male and comedy, female. I can think of really good. Acting, actors. You can name the whole cast of Crazy Rich Asians.
Sure,
like, I want to be like him.
Yeah,
I want to be like
they're
her.
Like mainstream magazines, like that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
but I feel
totally. Like they're on the cover. But musicians, it's what Bruno Mars is freaking half Filipino, and
right.
I don't know if he's ever said it in an interview more than once.
Sure, I don't know if people know that.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so it's like, we know it because like we're really trying to, sink our teeth in anything.
Claim everything.
I know. I'm like, you kind of look it, so I'm okay with that. Yeah.
You can represent for us.
Right.
You know?
You've been tapped, but yeah, I think I will talk to, some white friends or friends who maybe don't think about that representation wise for Asians and are like, oh, I didn't know that. Really? Like,
I didn't think about
yeah,
that.
it's like, what? That wasn't your entire life? Okay. Right. I got it.
So true.
But yeah, it's yeah, it'll happen. It'll happen, TikTok.
Yeah.
But anyway. Okay, so then I did want to ask because I saw an interview where you talked about you're working on a documentary about your father's life.
Cool. Yeah.
How is that?
I know. Well, everything's on
Sure,
halt now.
but yeah, what was the lead
before
up?
that? I wanted to get it done by Father's Day.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
So the genesis of this project was his 20th year death anniversary was coming up, and this was last year. So this is September of last year. September 15th, and I was like, man, let me do a concert or something to pay tribute. But then I started like thinking about what would last longer.
Cool.
And maybe do a little more research because, especially within Asian families, like we don't talk about deep stuff all the time. I think that it takes being uncomfortable to be like, hey, auntie, what was dad like when he was 17?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
that's
like
big
totally
leap.
a white person thing.
Yeah.
Like in movies and stuff. What was dad like?
Yeah. You're like, whoa, what did he just say a sentence? What happened there? I know like the Ancestry.com commercials keep popping up on like Hulu for some reason. And they're always like, yeah, so what was grandma like? It's like, what is this child talking about?
Dude, yeah, what? You would never ask that. Like,
but that's funny.
But yeah, so actually, yeah, coming from there where it's like, I wanted to know more about if, and I know deep down, like he'd be proud of me, whatever I was doing, but like, it would be cool to see from different perspectives of people he grew up with, whether in the Philippines or here, like, hey, what do you think he would think about us right now, our family, or like, even the smaller things, like was he a Lakers fan, was he a Clippers fan? Literally my family is split on
really
what that is.
Yeah, well, I know where your alliances lie.
Obviously. So when I posted about the Lakers and then his best friend commented on my Facebook post, he was like, your dad was a Clipper fan? I was like, no.
Oh my god. Yeah. You're like, oh my god,
things like that. But then my mom was like, what? Your dad watched the Lakers every day. And like, so,
oh yeah, so many different angles. Yeah.
Things, so many different perspectives. I'd love to see what he would think about my sister who is queer. I'd love to see if he would accept that all three of his children are going into music and not some staple job, things like that. So, and I know obviously I won't get exactly what that is because he's gone, but like it would be so cool to get the perspective of everyone he knew. So that is my goal for the documentaries, to interview every single person that he knew, Philippines and here. So we were planning to go in April.
Okay.
But it didn't happen. But we raised $13,000 through Indiegogo.
Amazing.
So cool that people are like down.
Yeah, and that takes a lot to, take the initiative to ask for that, to then be like, look, trust me, it's going to be great, which is
totally
putting your, putting yourself out there.
People don't know me as a filmmaker. Yeah, they don't know me as someone who can provide a quality documentary. Like, who knows?
Sure. I mean, yeah, any project, it's like, yeah, you gotta, that's part of it, I think. I that's something I think that people don't realize maybe, but because, we don't have a very like subsidized arts situation here,
Sure.
you do really have to, part of being able to create is like asking for help sometimes, or
asking for money.
Yeah, literally cash,
money, which is so uncomfortable.
Please unmarked bills. But yeah, or now, that's could be contaminated, so get it electronically.
Yeah. Don't use cash.
No cash. But also, I guess the fact that like, especially with parents too, and I think this is, any parent, who knows, but it's hard to know parents before they even had kids, right? Like, because you kind of always see them as your parents, and
so
then I think the fact that talking to people who like, I don't know, the cliche is like, oh my God, your mom was a party animal in college, you know, you're like fighting out, like, you don't tell me that, right? But like, of course, there's all those things that happened before they had us that really make them a full human, that I think a lot of kids don't have the, you know, never really have the curiosity or, you know, time to figure out. So that's really cool.
That is exactly what it is. Yeah, I think, yeah, it'll bring a whole different perspective and hopefully inspire other people to, like, I don't know, ask their parents more questions, because I think my number one regret, regret is like not knowing more from his mouth directly.
Sure.
Like answers to certain things that I was curious about, you know, like I didn't get to. And people who are my age now who still have both of their parents, you know, are able to do something like that. Like what was your guys' first date like, and blah, blah, blah. So, I think it'll fill some kind of void that I've had for the last 20 years. And I'm like so excited to get started whenever that happens. But, you know, right now, a lot of things are on hold.
Sure. Yeah. You can make the Zoom version of your documentary before.
I know. I was thinking about that in the shower yesterday.
I mean,
was like,
pre-interviews, you know, can still do those.
For sure.
But yeah, I mean, like, it's definitely, you know, I mean, it's like this. It can be fine. It's not the same as in
documentaries.
person.
Did you watch Tiger King?
I did.
Okay. Yeah, like the everything was of different quality. I mean, every documentary is
okay.
like this. I'm everything
like,
is different quality.
Oh, interesting. I don't think I knew because I don't have the eye. I was just like, this guy's crazy.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Documentaries do a great job of doing that, where they like make some kind of flow line happen, so you're not thinking about certain quality of certain shots. And like, you know, his interviews from jail and stuff, you could tell the sound quality was really bad there because, you know, you're not able to get a full quality. Yeah, you know, it's a phone call. So things like that are possible in documentaries, where like if I were to interview people in the Philippines through Zoom, mixing it with high quality shots of other things and stuff doesn't really matter, because you're just telling a story.
Yeah. You can buy some like stock footage of the Philippines. You're like, we're in the Philippines.
yeah, exactly. We're here,
guys. We were able to get out of quarantine. But that's. I mean, I've been. Well, how has it been just like performing on Zoom? Because I know, you know, people are doing Zoom shows and stuff. Do you like that?
I do. There's a lot less pressure for sure. And I like less pressure, definitely. And being in your own, you know, home and space helps. It doesn't beat in person, you know, singing along to your songs.
Sure, that's hard to sync up too, right?
Oh, for sure.
It's crazy.
Yeah, all that stuff for sure. The lag and things like that is like bugging.
Yeah, I don't know how about that.
Technically, but I didn't. Yeah, I performed yesterday with my girlfriend for the Asian Boss Girl podcast. They did a Zoom party live. Yeah, with those guys.
Very cool.
Those girls. And it was crazy because everyone's on mute, but they had everyone on video, which is cool.
Oh, like in a big Zoom grid kind of thing.
In a big Zoom party and in a Zoom grid. And at the end, I sing one of my songs, We Could Happen, which I know a lot of my fans know that song. So at the end, chorus is like a cappella. I've been.
Oh my God.
You know?
Yeah.
And you just see, you know, blank. I mean, people are singing along. Yeah. But like,
that's
you don't
so
hear
cute.
them. And
I love it.
That's, yeah, in a way it was really cool. But then that's when I got reminded of like, holy shit, like this has really changed a lot of things, you know. And I actually played my last show a week before quarantine in Merced, UC Merced, and even by then my meet and greet was no hugging. Actually, I think I would rather hug than handshake at that point.
Sure,
you know,
because they're probably...
I don't know what the heck, we didn't know what the thing was.
Yeah, no hands hug.
Just whatever, do something, but let's be cautious of where we are.
Oh wow.
And I remember thinking like, wow, this is really going to change a lot of things. And then quarantine happened, and now we're freaking playing concerts in our living room.
Yeah, getting Zoom silent claps. I feel
but
like
it must be cool for like the podcast.
Sure, the podcast is great because now, you know, everyone is very free and accessible, and people are kind of okay. And I enjoy, like, I'm such a homebody, so sometimes I am kind of like, well, if I can hang out with my friends and I don't have to drive anywhere, okay,
Yeah.
but I do think, yeah, for sure, like, comedy shows are just a shit show. It's just so funny because you really, like, have people. Well, it's funny because I think you can, like, heckle on Zoom a lot easier. Not that people are, like, trying to, but they'll
Right.
just, like, because they, like, get a phone call or something, then it switches to their screen, or, like, they forget to mute, and you're just like, what's
Yeah, the
happening? And
sound.
people are like, ha ha ha, or like, oh yeah, or
So
they're like,
true.
I mean, I guess the solution is just to, like, wrangle people to mute, but
But are people laughing on the comedy shows out
I mean,
loud?
that's the thing. I think that would probably be better, but a lot of it is like telling a joke to the void, and then everybody's like, or you can't tell, and you're like, well, I hope they're laughing. For my ego, I'm going to pretend they're laughing on mute, but I'm going to
Yeah.
move on anyway. So the other day I was in my house, like, there's literally nothing to talk about besides quarantine too, so it's very strange.
That's
But
so true. Yeah. I mean, even the Jimmy Kimmel and the Jimmy Fallon monologues
yeah,
and stuff. Yeah, like
what do they
it's
joke
a lot
about?
of it is so similar, and but they do give a pause for the joke, and
That's
just
right.
I
I
don't
have
know.
seen it. It
It's
is a little
yeah,
awkward. I
it's
mean, yeah,
awkward.
there's definitely, like, value to a live audience. So now we're learning that.
Now we're
But
learning
I
that for
mean, I
sure.
do like the funny thing too, I was just thinking about like, particularly for music, the fact that, like, I've heard people are singing happy birthday to, like, their friend, or, like, they'll try to sing happy birthday to their coworker, and it's just like a disaster because
Yeah,
everybody's
Zoom
echoing
birthday
around.
parties are weird.
Yeah, I've yet to go to one. I definitely am avoiding it. So,
Yeah, I've just seen clips on stories and stuff. I'm like, dude,
right.
I
Cute.
really, yeah, something, you're right. Something about, yeah, not only a live audience, but like just the connection with people. And as a homebody, I mean, me too. I barely go out during the week anyways. I'll like go out for events and stuff
Sure.
as well. Like that party that we were at the other day or
Oh,
the other month
dang chips.
that I last saw you. Yeah, that took a lot for me
Shout
to
out
go
to
out.
dang. Oh, yeah. I mean, I couldn't tell. You seemed very natural in your element. Got a lot of chips. Yeah, definitely, I was late, I remember, but also it was just, like, such a funny event because it was like, well, like, the little place where you can take a picture is, like, right on top of, like, where we're eating snacks. But
Yeah,
it's delicious
it
chips.
was
Delicious chips.
yeah, it was interesting because it's a food party,
Mm-hmm.
but and there's not a performance or anything,
Right.
but there's free food everywhere. But it was odd but cool. Obviously, thank you, Dang Foods,
Yes,
again
I
for
mean,
bringing
I
everyone
love
together.
it. I got my friend hooked because I brought them home, like, the snacks home, and then my friend was
Which
staying
one
with
is
us.
your fave?
So personally, I actually really like the toasted sesame, which are those little rice
Oh, the
cracker
round
things.
ones?
Yeah, yeah, purple
Yeah.
bag. How about you?
Yep. Mine is just the original, the green bag, the coconut.
Oh, coconut. Yeah,
Shredded
yeah,
chip.
those are
Oh
really
my
good
God.
too.
Yeah, I could just eat those
And
forever.
and it's healthy, right? I don't know. This is a great advertisement for them. They really did well by
They're not paying us for this.
yeah, inviting us both to that wonderful event.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, big fan. I've also got that visor from them, which is sitting around here somewhere,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I've
I
worn
made
it
you keep
multiple
it.
times. Yes, thank you for making me keep that because I've kind of
You're
used it
welcome.
as it's very similar to, like, those shields, those medical shields.
Oh yeah, you can put it upside down.
Yeah, so I'm like,
or
oh, maybe I
whatever.
shut it down over my face, and it's kind of like
Yeah.
a mask. I
Oh,
don't know.
double usage. Amazing.
Dang, saving lives.
Yep.
But yeah, so that was, that's kind of you're only socializing if you can get some free chips out of it. That's what I'm hearing.
Exactly.
Good.
No, but I also knew that I was gonna see people I haven't seen in a long time, like specifically the Asian American community.
Yeah, yeah.
Running into you and other friends and stuff, like, always makes those things like, oh yeah, that was worth going, opposed to, like, I don't know, a regular party at a club in LA.
Oh,
Like,
right.
why did
We're
I go
like
to that?
strangers. Yeah.
Yeah, like,
Can't
there's
imagine.
no need for me to do that.
Can't imagine.
Can't imagine.
Can't imagine even wanting to do that. Oh, yeah. I mean, the idea now of just, like, being, near people is terrifying. But also, like, I miss it for sure. But, like, going to a crowded, I don't think those crowded type of club scenes are going to be a thing for a while.
I was thinking about, even regular concerts,
Right.
and sporting events and stuff.
Sure.
It's like, is it going to be every other seat, or even Disneyland? Like, are they
Oh,
going to
yeah.
let max capacity come in
I don't
in the
know.
beginning? Like, probably not.
I
Like,
don't think so. But yeah, I mean, you're still touching all the same stuff. So I can't imagine
yeah,
like,
the lines and stuff.
yeah, I mean,
can't
you
believe
gotta grab the
there were
bar.
people who went on the last day.
Oh
They
God.
were willingly wanting to go on the last day of Disneyland. That is, I can't. That's
rough.
nah.
I mean, I understand that like, did you see that Canadian kid who was like, we traveled a long way, we weren't allowed in, but
Of course, I get that.
what a
You're
cute.
traveling.
Yeah,
and
I
you
know.
climb the
So
thing.
I guess
that was a funny
that
one.
could probably be the case, but yeah, it was so crowded. But yeah, I mean, and you're obviously a huge Disneyland fan, so like, it's
Yeah.
sad, right? I mean, I am too. I bought the 3-day Southern California pass. I only went one day.
yeah.
Got 2 more days,
Yeah.
but I don't think
And
they're.
it's going to be extended.
It
It's going
is,
to be extended.
but then it's
Yeah.
like it'll only be extended. I think. Well, maybe they'll change it, but it's a day for day. So it's like then I got to go right when it opens again when everybody's still got Corona. I don't think
Oh
so.
right, a day. Oh yeah, no, heck no.
So
the first couple days are going to be so crap.
Yeah, it's gonna be like people are gonna want to go, but everybody's gonna be like coughing over each other because they're still sick. Gross.
So me and my friends were like, the ultimate end to quarantine is or social distancing is probably when something big like Disneyland opens.
Sure.
So we gave our target dates. So what would be your guess, if any?
Oh, when Disneyland opens?
When Disneyland opened, which actually that's a big indicator, I think, for when this thing is like
Right. When we're like comfortable.
almost over. Yeah, comfortable, I guess, as well.
Interesting. I don't know. I mean, I kind of think it might not be till like next year. Is that crazy?
God. Thank you for the optimism.
Yeah.
I said August 15th.
Oh, okay.
I said August.
August. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I might say like January, dude.
All right. Well, it's on record. So
yeah, you're right.
you'll win a prize.
I will either win or have to, I guess give away money. Is that what's happening here?
I mean, if you win, it's a lose for everybody.
Okay,
'cause
yeah,
January
you're
is
right.
a long ass time.
That's how I operate in life. When I win, it's a lose for everyone. But yeah, it's real sad. Have you been on Rise of the Resistance? Speaking of,
yeah.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
never didn't get
Went
to go.
You didn't get to go?
No,
I'm so
I mean I
sorry.
didn't really know the gameplay. How did you do it?
Got it. So, we arrive an hour and a half before the park opens because you got to give that half hour to park and to get
Right.
to
And walking.
the tram, right?
Yeah.
So we'd get there at 6:30 if it opened at 8.
Wow.
It was crazy. Leave from Glendale at 5:30.
Oh my God.
Get there at
The
6:30.
dedication.
We even get to there at a time where the parking attendant guy is they're not even there yet. So there's still a line.
Wow.
You get through that. By the time you're at where the tram drops you off, it's an hour before. Okay. Which by then the lines are from Disneyland all the way to Disney California, if not longer.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. It's insane. But on average, and I did this 3 times. It took right when it opens an hour before, like they start letting people in an hour before the park actually opens.
Oh, okay, cool. So you can like walk around, go to the bathroom,
Yeah, go to the
Get a
bathroom.
snack?
You go to Starbucks.
and go to Starbucks.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, you get a snack. So we'd go, and if we got there right at 7, they're starting to let people in. So we would actually get in within like 25-30 minutes. So we're there at 7:30, and we're like just chilling, and all of us are on the Disneyland app.
Yeah.
And and we're waiting for 7:59. So right when 8 o'clock hits, you open the app, and then boarding groups become available.
Wow.
So there's like 4 of us in a group, 4 or 5 or 6 of us, and it was always the person with T-Mobile who got in first.
Really? I have
Yeah.
T-Mobile. And they've just never been great. But if they...
It's never great, but only in that situation.
I mean, then it's worth it. All the dropped calls, all
Yeah.
my slow data over the years, so worth it.
Yeah. So the reason why you have to get in before the park opens is because everyone's ticket has to be scanned, and everyone has to link their tickets on the app.
Okay, so you
So-
can do the linking before you get open the
You could do
boarding group?
linking before
Got
all
it.
that stuff. Be sure it's all linked. So when someone gets in, you just select all, hit OK, and you have a boarding group, and then
Amazing.
You get to go on the greatest ride of all time.
Well, I mean, you deserve it at that point. That is major.
I know, it's
yeah.
so much. It's so extra.
Yeah, it's very extra, but like, yeah, I went in with zero plan. We were late. It was already gone by the time we pulled up in our car. But for sure it was, then after I kind of delved deeper into the YouTube videos that were like, here's what you got to do.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you can go.
So you were thinking about it.
I know after the first day. So
Got
after
it.
I
Okay.
went and I was like, well, I had a 3-day pass, so maybe I'll go back, and then
Let's try
Corona
it,
hit
yeah.
and then all bets were off the table. But yeah, I went to, I even saw some people were like, okay, you go in the park, so you get scanned, and then you go to downtown Disney, you get better Wi-Fi, and then you do it there.
Ah.
Interesting.
Oh, I didn't think about going to downtown Disney.
I mean,
I just
apparently,
went where there was no people.
Right. I think that people are probably going to downtown Disney now that secret is out, but at the time it was probably more deserted. But fascinating. Much respect. You very much,
Thank you very
you've
much.
earned your Disneyland badge of approval.
Yeah, I hope the people listening are Disneyland fans. If not, then that
was pretty
totally a waste of time.
I mean, and it's pretty irrelevant for everyone now.
It truly is.
yeah.
We're all in the same boat.
Yeah, but I mean, thank you for sharing that because, who knows? Maybe it'll reopen in August 15th, as you said.
Thank you. I mean, you think it probably will take a vaccine for everything to be cool.
Yes. At the very least. And people have to be able to get that vaccine, which I'm also concerned about.
That as well. Yeah.
Just
you're
to add
right.
another fun thought to, the nighttime terrors that we're all having.
I know. In the movie Contagion.
Oh, yeah. Still haven't seen it.
And it's old enough. I'm not necessarily spoiling anything, but
Oh, it's fine. I don't plan on watching it.
You don't plan on it? Okay, great. Everyone who got the vaccine ended up having a wristband. You had to have the wristband to even go to school and stuff and things like that.
See, that's...
I think that's...
Yeah, that seems a little... That definitely seems plausible, but I'm terrified of that. Because...
You're right.
It sucks.
I hope it doesn't
The
have to
FOMO,
get to that
so...
stage.
Like, right now there's no FOMO, at least. But
Right.
then it's like, oh man, I didn't get it, so now I can't do anything.
That's so true. Then you're really stuck. And people look at you different. They're like, whoa, you could maybe have the freaking
Right.
the virus.
Terrifying.
I mean, they're already looking at Asians.
I know. They get to feel what it's like to be Asian, essentially.
Yeah, to be us.
Right. But dark. But yeah, no,
Super
that's very scary. Who knows? I would be down to forge a couple wristbands, really break the system down.
That is actually really scary. 'Cause
Sure.
then people are just doing it.
Right. They'd have to do something. They'd probably start chipping people. Something a little harder to forge.
Yeah,
You down for a little chip action?
I'm down.
But
If that's what it takes.
I mean, look, I guess that's the future. If we're trying to go to
Yeah.
Disneyland by summer, we gotta be willing to give up our
Oh
freedom.
God. Wow. What a time.
But this is good. I mean, look, I typically we've gotten some good stuff here, so I want to circle us back to like the positivity stuff because
Yeah, how are we circling back from
look,
that?
I think we're winding down, but I like to get the guests to, give a little positivity advice. I guess if there's
You're
anything
right.
that
Towards
you
the end.
specifically,
Cap it off.
and I mean, doesn't, take your time.
What
We're
is
in
the
no
theme? What are you
rush.
gonna even call? What are you gonna call this episode? We've talked about so many things.
Oh man, I mean, I'm into titling them just by the guest's name. Little AJ
That's
Rafael
great.
exclamation
Yeah.
point. But but I guess if I don't know if that's SEO friendly. Maybe I should start titling stuff. Should I start?
Who knows? I mean,
researching?
everyone's on the internet now, so I'm sure everyone will find everything.
Right.
But I mean, if it was like AJ Rafael, the do's and don'ts of Rise of Resistance.
Rise of the Resistance. Yeah.
That
Guaranteed
would get a
getting
certain
into
issue
Rise of
people.
the Resistance if you listen to this. That's the disclaimer. And everybody's like, oh, I gotta click on this because I'm totally going to Rise of the Resistance.
No, if there were some things that I were to take from this this conversation is to remind yourself that not doing something is okay.
That's
And
legendary.
Yeah. Whew, what a quote. no, that, yeah, exactly like you said about not having to write that novel. And, we've all seen a lot of memes on both sides of the coin. Whether there's one out there that's like, if you don't come out of here with a new skill, then you lack discipline.
Yeah,
like,
sheesh.
what? That is trash.
Yeah, so
That is
much
trash
to worry
because
about
we're
already.
all going through, yeah, so much to worry about. You're right. You're like surviving, financially, mentally, right? So, and me having to actually, revisit that time where I went through that long, big break because I didn't give myself enough of little breaks or myself the weekends. You know what I mean? Is kind of what, I mean, we're all kind of forced to take a step down from certain things right now. So it could be a beautiful kind of silver lining to everything horrible that's going on right now.
Yeah, that's true. We're just in one long weekend,
One long weekend, one long little hiatus, and I mean, if you can still help, prepare or set up yourself for the future to the best of your ability, like that is rad. And people are in kind of like a good situation to be able to say that. But also if you're going through your own thing and feeling the pressures, just like, take some time off from feeling that grind and hustle 24/7 mindset that some of y'all might be in, because it's not about that. It's about living life in the moment, because what we've all learned with the however many hundreds of thousands people who are sick or who we've lost is that like life could be taken at any second, any day. So live life to the fullest, but that doesn't mean go outside and party.
It doesn't mean get the coronavirus.
It doesn't mean go try
Right.
to be careless about the coronavirus. Just it's cool to sit there and appreciate what you have and what's been given to you in this lifetime.
That's beautiful stuff.
Hey, thanks.
But yeah, actually though, I love that, because it is such a thing that I think our society is trying to, as cheesy as saying that is, but tries to push on us like work so that you can make us money or whatever. And it's like,
get that money.
Well, where are you guys? I don't know who I'm talking to. I guess like government or like the man. Where is Jeff Bezos when I don't know, with his bajillions. I mean, I guess, it's a disaster. He's 30 stories underground right now, probably.
Oh my God, that dude, what the heck? I mean, to have that insane amount of wealth, and for how many generations of his family can he provide for?
Sure, it's a good way of looking at it.
Jeesh.
Yikes.
Give us some.
Yeah, give a little back. He's making a lot still.
Come on.
But that's true. We can take a little break, treat it as a weekend, a real weekend. But thank you for sharing that.
Hey,
it's very important.
Anytime.
Very important stuff. And then
it's good to have this conversation.
Yes, of course. And thank you for taking the time. But also anything you want to, plug specifically, just where can they find you that is best? Yeah,
I guess I'm on TikTok these days.
Oh,
I'm on TikTok now.
Nice.
For all the Gen
X's, is that it's like a username, right? Is it just
just just search me. But it is my username actually is AJ Rafael Music. But I'm just trying to make fun things, and unfortunately my girlfriend is being furloughed like many people around the world. But we will have more time to create fun videos and stuff. We started a YouTube channel together,
Oh, I saw that.
So,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Very cool. And plus you guys have a great duo name, Allie and AJ.
Yeah, come on, Allie and AJ. That's going to be our wedding hashtag.
Yeah, perfect.
But it's been fun to be quarantined with my girlfriend, who's like, she sings and is creative and all these amazing things too, just like me. So look for that on, just type in Alyssa and AJ on YouTube and we'll be there. So
Sweet. Yay. Well, thank you so much, AJ. And Take it easy.
Hey, you too.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
too. Come on. No, but I love the hustle. I mean, are you recording podcasts every day?
Not every day. God, no. God, no. Once a week.
Okay, that's the 24/7 hustle. You're right.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, Jesus, I need 6 days off, you know?
But even once a week is a hard thing. I think people probably don't realize it. Once a week sounds easy.
Sure.
But like even doing one YouTube video a week and stuff,
Oh,
that's like
God.
hard to keep up.
Yeah, luckily
right?
the podcast, it's like, I don't have to do much editing, you know? But if I had to like really think about it or make it a high quality, NPR style thing, forget about it.
Sure.
This is very
No, it's cool.
casual.
I like it. People love listening to just like the cash.
Yeah, we're keeping it cash.
Keep it cash.
But yeah, thank you. Hey everyone, hope you liked that interview. I know I did. I'm really excited to go on Rise of the Resistance once this is all over, That's my little treat for all of us. We're all going to go on it. We're all going to get a boarding group. I thought it was really cool that he talked about like taking that time to yourself or whatever to kind of divorce the work from the weekends and all that, because I think, the more we all are kind of in this together, the fact that it's really big right now, not just to find your job, but to find your passion. But sometimes you got to separate your passion from you. Anyway, I hope you guys are hanging in there despite all the madness that's going on right now. And I want to start a thing, please. We're looking for responses to the following question. If you could send it to staypodsitive@gmail.com. How do you separate yourself from your career or your passion or whatever you want to call it? How do you keep those two guys apart? Yeah, let me know. I'm really interested. Okay, thanks. Bye.